Hi, everybody. Welcome back to episode 85 of the Simply One podcast. I'm your host, Colin, and I'm joined by my co-host, Chris.
How we doing, everybody?
We're just a couple of best friends who are passionate about all things pop culture. If you're looking for lukewarm takes on movies, video games, TV shows, or even the occasional comic, then we've got the show for you.
That's right. That's fucking right.
How you hanging, man?
I'm all right.
I'm all right, man.
All right, man.
Estoy cansado.
I'm tired, boss.
Yeah. He's got a little head cold.
I'm dying.
So the end of the world's nearly upon us.
I had to take a hot shower and just let that hot water beat on me, man.
He's over here. What if you've got the vid again?
Nah, no shot. I kill myself.
Don't say that. Come on, King.
Come on, mate.
Come on, King.
Come on, mate.
Pull it back, King.
No, but I don't know. No shot, man. No way. I don't want it.
I mean, I'm sure there's some bug catcher out there that's like, yeah, give it to me. But I don't know that most people are like, you know what sounds right? A virus.
If it's because I went and saw that concert, I'll be pissed.
Probably. Big crowd.
Nah, because I was a little stuffy then.
I mean, you've been sleeping with the windows open.
I have?
Well, you had been then.
No, because it's been getting pretty cold that night.
I know.
To the point where I'll turn my fan off, so I close the window.
Either way.
Maybe I just didn't get it in time.
Maybe you just got a little cold and you're just not able to.
Someone's trying to fucking poison me.
Like, it's one of two things. You've either got a mild cold and you just can't hang, or you're on the way out.
I think I'm on the way out.
Yeah, I know, but you always think that. That's my point. You could have a mild cold and be like, I don't.
It's my time.
You're quite stereotypically man in that way. Of like, you're just not a good patient. When you're sick, you're like, I don't know what to do. I'm dying. I'm dying, Dutch.
I can't. I'm so tired. I just want to lay down and sleep all day and sleep all day.
Yeah, you want to do that anyways.
That's true, but
this week,
I icky.
Yeah, you're always icky too. This week we read some
comic books.
What kind of comic books?
Horror comic books.
What kind?
Horror comic book. Horror.
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 Oh no! The Scarecrow. They chucked my arms off and they threw them over there.
Makes me think of from Adventure Time. People will choose Goose. I think it's played by the same voice actor.
That's the Scarecrow?
Maybe not, but he sounds super similar.
Pretty sure that man's been dead for about 60 to 70 years.
How can he die? He's a scarecrow. I'm not.
You burn him.
Whoa.
I mean, he's made of hay.
That's true.
He'd go up like a candle.
Birthday to me.
Yep. But yeah, so Chris read a single horror comic book because it's a longer, he has a volume of it. And I read two shorter books that were all horror themed, and we're gonna give our thoughts on them
for Halloween.
Yep, that's right. And then next week, well, we'll talk about it at the end.
Get a little treat, huh?
Well, yeah. We'll loop y'all
like French Montana.
We'll loop y'all in. So I do have quite a bit in the news, so we're gonna try and
let's speed through this.
Get to moving. So I'm not even gonna give you the rundown. We're just gonna start. This is all chronological from last week till today, which is Monday. Whatever today is, the 16th. So the last week, Sony confirmed the PS5 Slim is coming out this holiday season, and people have been dog shitting on it ever since. Because first, I mean, there are some neat features to it, but then also there's some stuff that feels not great. So
here we go.
They did reduce the volume by more than 30% and the weight by 18%. Compared to the previous models. So that's cool that it is genuinely smaller, right? Because it is a pretty bulky console.
It's pretty big. She's a big one.
They also are continuing, so it's the standard model isn't going to have a disk drive, but it is going to have an attachable disk drive that you can pay for if you want, which, I mean, makes sense because, like, I've got the disk drive.
So do I.
I don't use it much.
I do.
Sure. But it's not, like, it isn't necessary. And so I could see the default model being there's no disk. You can have a disk if you want.
I don't know. I like to have the physical.
Yeah, I do too. That's why I got that one. But it also has a 1 terabyte SSD for internal storage. So that's a leg up on this. I believe the current model has
like
maybe
500.
I think it's 500 gig, which on the way the games are going,
Dude, they're like 60, 70 gigs a pop.
yeah, so
At least.
yeah.
What is
you
it?
figure
Call
some
of Duty? I mean,
Oh,
it's like
yeah.
150.
Well, you figure Red Dead Redemption 2 is over 120.
Yeah,
So some of these games are taking. You can only have 2 or 3 of those, and you're set. That's your storage. But it does come. Well, they did also show a vertical stand that you can buy for it, but you have to buy the stand. It doesn't just come with the stand.
Oh.
And so a lot of people have been dunking on that because also the picture that they show off is like, here's them standing upright, here's the controller, and then down in the bottom right corner, it's like, vertical stand sold separately. You know what I mean? And
That's
so
stupid.
a lot of people have been dunking on that. And it does seem like it's like, oh, this is what PlayStation kind of just does now, is they release a console, and then a little while later they go, yeah, we improved it. Here's like the 1.5.
Right.
And so it does feel a little iterative, but maybe it'll be.
I mean, but arguably Xbox does the same thing.
Sure, I'm not saying they don't, but PS5 is who's in the news right now.
That's why PC is the master race.
Oh Christ! Don't start this. But I mean, come on now. Come on.
Let's use our head.
Let's just. Did you say let's use our head?
Yeah, let's use
Let's
our
just
head.
think it through here. Come on now. Come on now. In other news, James Gunn. There was a report from Variety that none of the Batman v Superman or Justice League stars will be returning to reprise their roles in James Gunn's DCU. So that means they're all out.
He's got to make up some ground.
So that means
Jason Momoa's out?
Jason Momoa is not there as
Good.
Aquaman.
Good.
Fuck, relax. Why do you hate Jason Momoa? What did he do to you?
He just it's not good. Like
He
the
fucked my
films.
wife. Like he took my girl, man.
I took that to heart, bro.
Yeah, I took that personally.
Yeah.
So no Jason Momoa, no Ezra Miller, no Gal Gadot, no Henry Cavill, no Ben Affleck. They're all not in it.
That's
Now
cool.
the like asterisk is that it does say will not reprise their roles. There's been a lot of leaks and rumors that Jason Momoa is in talks to play Lobo, who's kind of like I don't want to say he's like Deadpool, but he's like Deadpool in the kind of zany way. And he's looks like a big, buff, pale biker in some versions. Some version he's lanky, but the version that I picture Jason Momoa playing is the big, buff, like space biker, basically.
Okay.
Who like has chains and shit as his weapons, and is kind of insane and drives around the galaxies being a wild motherfucker. So
That sounds pretty fucking dope.
yeah, like I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
And I could see James Gunn going, you know what I want to do? Lobo. And honestly, hate to say it, Jason Momoa, you could be the guy. Because they've kind of played Aquaman as like, he's a wild and zany guy, and it's like, I don't know.
He's really not.
Right. And it's like, I don't know if that fits. But Jason Momoa is good at being like, I'm having a good time and I'm out there.
Yeah.
Put him in, and he's a big fucking lug. You know what I mean?
He just needs to be a little more intimidating.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the thing. It's like, also, he doesn't have to put it in his voice to be intimidating, let's be honest.
Oh.
You know what I mean? If that guy came up to you and very politely went, hey, buddy, how about you cut that out? You'd still be like,
I'm like, no.
No, you wouldn't. You'd be like, yes, sir.
I'm like, what you trying to scrap?
He's just
You trying to get motherfucking wallop?
You thought I was.
You what?
You're done. First of all, you're boring.
Yeah, first off, you're boring.
But no, so that I did go, oh, shit, that's official. They are all out. So,
Cut 'em.
Safe. Yeah.
I think that's a right move,
I did
James
skip
Gunn.
out on the one asterisk there. Lobo is a bounty hunter. His style just reminds me of a biker. He's not literally a space biker.
Oh. No, I don't really care for it as much anyway.
Actually, not good now. I want to see if I can words. I want to see if I can find you a picture of Lobo. I'm sure this wonderful thing called technology. Hey, how about you stop that? I don't care if you are sick. I don't want to hear that shit.
All right.
It's like you're taking a test in school. So, shh, I'm sick. Shh.
Shut up.
Shut up.
Oh yeah, Jason Momoa
I mean,
could
come
play.
on now. Tell me, yeah, that's Jason Momoa. Right?
Yeah, he's got a stogie in his hand.
Yeah, you pale him up. Come on now. Yeah, got a big honking cigar. He's got like
He'll have to
spiked bracers.
He'll have to trim down the beard.
Yeah, which I'm sure he's fine with. Yeah, just cut this and leave the. Or they could just go, you know what, Lobo's got a beard. You know what I mean? I don't think it's integral.
I want to see Jason Momoa without a beard.
Just, have you ever seen Rhett McLaughlin without a beard? From Rhett.
Yeah, he's got a mole.
Haunting.
He's got a mole on his upper lip.
He's got no chin.
Uh-uh.
His face just
cuts.
Slopes
it's like a
in.
square.
Yeah. Not even. It's soft. It's just. Looks like he was in an accident and lost the bottom half of his face when he doesn't have a beard.
That's so fucked up.
Yeah. He doesn't like it either. So we kind of talked about this personally, and I read you the article from Hollywood Reporter. Daredevil Born Again has been not canceled, but basically completely restarted. They scrapped it, fucking fired the writers, and this is part of a bigger shuffle at Marvel Television that, like we were talking about when we were reading this article personally. It just makes sense. A few things happened. So first of all, this is from the article on the Hollywood Reporter. Sources say that the writers Corman and Ord crafted a legal procedural that did not resemble the Netflix version, known for its action and violence. This is talking about Daredevil still. Saying that Cox, who plays Charlie, or who plays Charlie, his name's Charlie Cox, who plays Matt Murdock, didn't even show up in costume until the 4th episode. Marvel, after greenlighting the concept, found itself needing to rethink the original intention of the show. So this is one of those things where I think the strike may have saved this show, in that they had a long enough pause to look at the footage that had been shot and go, woof, this is not good. And like I said, this is part of a larger systemic issue inside Marvel Television, where they weren't running it like television. They were running it like movies, but wanting to make television. Yeah. And they're kind of learning the hard way that they're just two different things. It doesn't translate that way. Where like they weren't doing piloting, which is where, they pay you and I $100,000 or whatever, here's this much money, make a pilot, write a pilot. We'll read it. If we like it, we'll give you another smaller budget to film it. Then we'll go, okay, yeah, we like that.
Yeah.
Take it to series, which that's another thing. They just didn't have showrunners, which is like a writer who's driving the train going, here's his room of writers. So the writer's room, he's got the vision. Let's go this direction with it. What do you guys think? Let's work together on this. And he can make creative decisions. And they just didn't have that. They'd have like a quote unquote writer and a director of the show. And then that was kind of the process. And that led to issues on She-Hulk, where, let's see here. I was trying to see the exact phrasing of it, but basically it sounded like one of the two got let go, either the director or the writer. I believe it was the writer. And then the director was left to kind of keep the creative direction moving.
Holy smokes, that's a lot.
Yeah, and it's like, well, you want me to direct and essentially write without writing. Mm-hmm. And so it's like, well, that's not great. And so now they're basically going, okay, we're starting over. We're going to hire showrunners. We're going to build writers' rooms. We're going to shop pilots. We're going to do this like television. And they're hiring in television executives to run the Marvel Television as television.
Good.
And so hopefully they're able to salvage Daredevil, start over. Because they still have the option to keep stuff that they thought worked. Because I don't think it was like all 4 episodes were just start to finish shit. Right. Yeah, I mean, I think it's just they got into it and went, this isn't what we wanted it to be. No. Let's start over. But like I said, they still got the option to keep stuff that worked. Yeah. And then it kind of helps that, okay, well, they've got more. The actors are still on strike. That's going to be our next thing. But, so they've still got time to put together a writer's room, get to writing, and hopefully work out a deal with the actors that by the time the actors come back, they can get to work on what's next, and that'll actually come together as good television, because lately it ain't been the greatest. Figure you and I skipped out entirely on Secret Invasion. So, oops.
Whoops.
Yeah, and it sounds like we weren't alone. Like I kind of teased there, the SAG-AFTRA strikes, their talks came to a halt. So a couple weeks ago, they returned to the table between the studios and the actors, and apparently this time it was the studios that walked away from the table. that basically they just refused to counter the last offer from SAG-AFTRA. And so they're kind of at a standstill again, where the actors will just continue to strike, and hopefully they'll come back to the table. And it sounds like, sounds like a broken record. AI would not budge. The studios would not budge on AI.
Yeah. That
they wanted to use, likenesses and voices and things like that in perpetuity. And the actors are saying no, And the actors also talked about, I think it was 2% of streaming revenue. I think it was it ends up being 54 cents per subscriber it might have been per month or per year or something like that. But that was roughly how the math worked out. That was the kind of cut that the actors wanted as their, residuals, essentially. How do you find residuals from streaming? Because it's not the same as old fashioned television. And they looked at a 2% bump basically, as hey, let's do that. And the fucking executives were like, you greedy pigs, from their golden towers,
Right.
The quote here says that the negotiations between the AMPTP and SAG-AFTRA have been suspended after SAG-AFTRA presented its most recent proposal on October 11th. This is from the SAG-AFTRA. After meaningful conversations, it is clear that the gap between the AMPTP and SAG-AFTRA is too great, and conversations are no longer moving us in a productive direction. They didn't reveal any details about the negotiations, but SAG has since claimed that the studios are using bully tactics, as well as presenting an offer that was less than what was proposed before the strike even began. Wow. So they basically came back lower than they'd started.
Yeah.
As kind of like a fuck you tactic. How about less, since you wanted to go on strike? And obviously SAG went, no.
Yeah.
We're not going to take that deal. They say it was with, this is the official tweet from SAG-AFTRA. It is with profound disappointment that we report the industry CEOs have walked away from the bargaining table after refusing to counter our latest offer. We have negotiated with them in good faith, despite the fact that last week they presented an offer that was shockingly worth less than they had proposed before the strike began. As I mentioned, these companies, this is a quote still, these companies refuse to protect performers from being replaced by AI. They refuse to increase your wages to keep up with inflation, and they refuse to share a tiny portion of the immense revenue your work generates for them. There hasn't really been any official word from the AMPTP, unsurprisingly. They haven't talked much during any of the strikes. According to the Hollywood Reporter, though, the issue of revenue sharing has been a major sticking point through the negotiations, which, like I kind of talked about, just wanting 2%.
Yeah, that's it, man.
They have done the same with AI, claiming to protect performer consent, but continue to demand consent on the first day of employment for use of a performer's digital replica for an entire cinematic universe or any franchise project. So if you and I get hired on as, fucking Tweedledee and Tweedledum in Marvel movie 57, we sign a contract right then and there when they hire us on that our likeness is theirs in perpetuity for AI use. And if we refuse, we just don't get a contract.
I feel like that's such they can hire you once and then we'll never have to hire you again.
Yeah, one of the tactics they talked about using was digitally scanning extras and then reusing them in other projects.
That's fucked up, yo.
That's yeah. And that's for a lot of actors, extra work is how you get.
That's how you get your start.
Yeah, that's how you start rubbing elbows. Because you're on these sets, you get to meet people, talk to
someone recognizes you if you're doing good.
Yeah, if you stand out in some way, or you can a lot of times they'll make the tactic of I want to be an extra on. I'm going to throw out a big name, but I want to be an extra on all of Scorsese's movies if I can, and then through repetition of being seen, that guy likes me, and he might give me an extra line or an extra role with lines, and then you worked your way up. Yeah. And you're just getting more recognition with the company. And they're kind of eliminating the need for extras. The companies are using the same failed strategy they tried to inflict on the WGA, putting out misleading information in an attempt to fool our members into abandoning our solidarity and putting pressure on our negotiators. This is from SAG-AFTRA. But just like the writers, our members are smarter than that and will not be fooled. We stand united and ready to negotiate today, tomorrow, and every day. And as I said, the AMPTP has not been making statements.
Chatty about it.
So it'll sound one-sided because SAG-AFTRA only benefits from people hearing about it, and the AMPTP obviously doesn't. So they're not, they are speaking from a losing standpoint in the public eye.
Pretty bold that they threw out that kind of offer.
Especially after they gave the writers a deal.
Yeah.
They basically, it's a strange thing where, like, they already showed their hand that, like, turns out a strike will work.
Right.
And then to go, how about less? You know what I mean?
It's like,
And then be like, no, how about we just stay on strike?
Right.
And you guys still can't make your fucking stuff because you've been without writers for how long? And now you're without, doesn't matter what you write, you can't shoot it.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they start losing money here soon.
Probably not. That's the problem.
How long do you think it would take until they stopped generating revenue from new movies coming out?
I don't know. I mean, I don't have a great answer, but I don't know. Probably they're worried about next year already, which is why they delayed films from this year to next year. Because they're like, well, we're not going to have stuff to put out next year.
Right.
So we need to put stuff out next year.
Right.
So if the stuff they're putting out next year doesn't make money, that's when I think they really start to get worried and tighten the belt. But I don't see a strike lasting that long because they don't want to find out if it hurts or not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you figure the writer's strike went for, what would we say, 150 days basically?
Mm-hmm.
The actors have been on strike for about maybe a month or two less than that. So we might have another month or two of no actors,
I bet you what the companies are trying to do is trying to
push them off till the holidays.
Well, I'm thinking they're trying to push them off until the writers are done, right? Because they go, well, we can hold out all day and we're not going to change the deal because we can't even make anything yet.
Right.
So they're probably sitting there like, yeah, we'll fucking lowball you. And then when we don't come back, right? And you guys are like,
right.
You guys gonna make a deal? And we're like, nah. Like, it's either that, take it or leave it, because the writers are still writing, so they have the time.
Yeah. Yeah, but the writers writing is only a loss of money for them. Because they're paying the writers to write something that they can't make.
I'm with you. I'm saying I bet you that's how the companies are seeing it.
I'd be surprised if that's their strategy. I think their strategy is the actors need the money more than the writers, and they're starving. And they'll take any deal to get off the street striking.
You and I should just make a filming company.
Why does every talk like this turn into, we could just do this?
Because if we did it, think about how much
we are the
money.
We are the meme of two white dudes with a podcast.
Yeah.
It's like, not everybody should have access to a microphone, because we just get to talking about shit, act like we know what we're talking about, and then you just go, you know what, actually, it makes me think of there was a statistic where I don't remember the numbers, I'm not going to come up with any, but some stupid number of men polled believed they could land a plane.
No, I couldn't.
You know what I mean? Where they're like, I mean, it can't be that hard. You know what I mean? That's such a man mentality to be like.
I could not land a plane. It'll think it's a spaceship, bro.
Yeah, like
seen all the flicks and switches and stuff.
The pilot loses consciousness. The flight attendants yell back, "Hey, who can land this plane?" You're like, bingo, that's me. And you just step in there, boom, looking at the, some 200 instruments on the fucking dash, going. All right, which one of these goes down? Like what?
Let's ease up on the throttle.
Yeah, plane just swerves hard to the right. But yeah, that's you.
No,
is the men? No, for some reason that's the only thing that you don't think you can do.
I couldn't land a plane. Couldn't land a helicopter.
But by God, I could start my own.
I could
film house.
I could, man. What would we call it? OPP Film House.
Yeah,
you know me.
You know me. So. DC, the imprint, the comic company, actually is bringing out Elseworlds again, which Elseworlds is like their What If.
Yeah.
Where they go, here's a limited run comic of,
What is it?
So probably one of their most famous ones is Gotham by Gaslight, which is like Victorian Batman who's chasing Jack the Ripper. And that's a pretty good one.
What about the Batman Who Laughs?
Joker the Batman Who Laughs, yeah. And then you've got Superman Red Sun, which is what if Clark Kent had landed in the Soviet Union instead of in Kansas.
Yeah, that'd be fucking
and
just
he's
a
basically
fucking comedy.
Because part of is that he believes in this, that, and the American dream. You know what I mean? The American way. And it's like, yeah, but what if he didn't have those quote unquote good American values of the 50s? You know what I mean? And he instead landed in the Soviet Union.
Prost.
And you just got a villain Superman. So to tie it in, they announced 6 comics, 6 new series, and one of them is Gotham by Gaslight: The Kryptonian Age, and so it's basically going to be a continuation of Gotham by Gaslight, where it's going to start bringing in more 19th century DC heroes as Gotham by Gaslight Batman assembles the Justice League in that
like
world.
Victorian.
Yeah,
That'd be pretty cool.
yeah, that's pretty dope.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, I like. You should read Gotham by Gaslight.
Yeah, I like steampunk-esque shit.
Yeah, and it's kind of got that vibe
Yeah.
because it's Victorian Batman, so it's a gadget guy in that time
Right.
hunting Jack the Ripper.
I gotta get blown
Yeah.
my nose.
The other one here that I got a kick out of because it sounds like not the same idea, but it sounds like they were in the same brainstorm. Batman the Barbarian,
That one sounds cool.
and it's literally Batman as a wandering barbarian in a medieval version of the DCU.
That'd be fucking dope.
Yeah, and take a look at him here. This is like, I don't know if this is cover art or concept art.
If he doesn't look like He-Man, well, bit.
Got the fucking sword and the torch.
That looks pretty cool.
Dark Knights of Steel All Winter. This is apparently a spin-off of Tom Taylor's medieval fantasy series, Dark Knights of Steel. Didn't read that one. It's another Elseworlds. But this one focuses on Deathstroke, who's a Batman villain. And inspired by Norse myths, All Winter sees Deathstroke wandering a frozen wasteland and reluctantly becoming a protector of the innocent rather than a remorseless mercenary. And he looks pretty badass, too. Check it.
That's Batman?
No, that's Deathstroke.
Oh, okay. I was like, where? He looks pretty cool. I like his fucking helmet still. Got his mouth hanging out with his beard.
Yeah. He's using an axe. Hand axe. Let's see. Green Lantern Dark. So this takes place in an alternate universe where evil has ravaged a sunless Earth, and a new Green Lantern has emerged as the only remaining hero, but she goes missing just as humanity needs her most. And then Batman Nightfire. There's a lot of Batman.
Yeah.
It's almost like he's their most popular hero.
Huh.
So let's see here. This is a story set in a world where Batman harbors a secret so important that he would rather allow Gotham to burn down than let the truth be known.
Oh, wow.
DC hints that the series also deals with Batman potentially traveling to the past to rewrite his present. So whatever the secret is, it's worth going back in time to change, as far as he's concerned. And then DC versus Vampires, World War V. So this is a sequel to the original DC versus Vampires. It takes place at a time when humanity is beginning to restore sunlight to a vampire-ravaged world. Unfortunately for these survivors, an undead Barbara Gordon emerges as the latest and greatest threat to humanity's survival. So she's Batgirl.
Yeah.
The quote is, "Out-of-continuity stories have always been a pillar of DC publishing, granting creators the ability to explore all the wild corners of the DC universe. We're excited to bring a whole new slate of titles under the Elseworlds banner in 2024, combining some all-new titles from top storytellers, as well as sequels from the current DC line that fit that same out-of-continuity aesthetic." I love Elseworlds. Like I said, Gotham by Gaslight's pretty dope. And so I'm definitely excited for, especially... I mean, it's all going to be Batman, basically.
Yeah.
I'm not that interested in the Green Lantern, because Green Lantern's never been one of my characters that I like too
He's
much.
mid.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
Makes me think of the Schwartz.
May the Schwartz be with you.
Merchandising. Spaceballs the lunchbox.
I guess maybe DC v Vampires.
That one sounds pretty cool.
Yeah. But I'm definitely interested in Gotham by Gaslight, the Kryptonian Age.
Yeah.
And Dark Knights of Steel, All Winter.
Yeah.
And Batman the Barbarian. I like me some Batman. I don't know what to tell you.
Well, sus, but...
It's official. Microsoft has acquired Activision Blizzard. It's finished. It's done. They now own Activision for $69 billion. It went through.
How does Microsoft not have a fucking monopoly?
Because Sony still exists and Nintendo.
It's true. And they're getting there, man.
Most large industries turn into an oligopoly, which means very few running everything. Yeah. And it still ends up being not consumer friendly, because your options are: do you give Sony $600 for a console or Microsoft $559? You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's like, well, either way, you're getting raked over the coals.
Yeah.
Nothing major out of that. It's that whole thing is done. It's kind of been up in the air for a while with them having to get clearance through Europe and the United States, the FTC and all that. And there's been some tossing back and forth where they go, well, now we want to look at that. No, now we want to look at that. It's now officially finalized and they own Activision.
They closed the deal.
So what's wild is there's a lot of like things that for me are synonymous with PlayStation that are now owned by Microsoft. Like Crash Bandicoot is owned by Microsoft now because Sony never officially owned Crash Bandicoot. Activision published the original Crash Bandicoot. They hold that license.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
And so this, you figure there's PlayStation ads where he was their mascot.
Yeah.
And now he is owned by Xbox. Yep. That's wild. Let's see.
Way to get fucking dunked on, bro.
Showed their ass. Obviously, World of Warcraft, Diablo, Overwatch, StarCraft, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater is an Xbox game now. Spyro the Dragon is another PlayStation game to me. That is now an Xbox game. Guitar Hero. And apparently, they were already talking like, how about we bring back Guitar Hero? And I'm like, fuck. I love Rock Band 4. And I love the Guitar Hero games.
Guitar Hero is good.
I'm like, fuck. If they bring back Guitar Hero, am I going to get an Xbox? Or would they figure out how to make it for the PC? But I don't think it'd be fun for the PC.
There's this thing that you can do. You can get. It's basically Guitar Hero for the PC, and it's kind of got the
Guitarsmith or something to that effect.
No, it's something weird. But like you can hook up
an actual guitar.
The Guitar Hero plugins and stuff, and it'll work.
Yeah.
But it's just like all the original Guitar Hero songs, but then like every song there is.
Right, yeah, just all songs.
Yeah.
Let's see here. We got the official trailer for Invincible Season 2.
Yes.
Which we just watched there.
Yes.
Looks pretty dope.
Gas.
I did like that they didn't show us Omni-Man, except for, I think it was him, in one shot where it looks like he's just flown out to a black hole.
Yeah.
And it looks like he's just kind of staring at the black hole. Where I'm like, I wonder if he's thinking about just flying into it. You know what I mean?
But he's like flown to other... Well, like it's just a portal, but...
Yeah, he's the interdimensional travel. Yeah, when he goes to the fucking... I can't think of what their race is, but he just completely wipes out
their entire species in like...
what
was it, like a couple days?
Yeah, something like that. But on Earth, it was only like an afternoon. Yeah. You know what I mean? And he comes back, he's got grayer like, hair and a beard.
A full beard.
Yeah, and he's like, I need a shower. Oh my God.
How long were you gone?
Yeah. Earth is not yours to conquer.
Yeah.
Because it's his.
It's his.
Mm-hmm. Fuck.
Dude.
Yeah.
Invincible's so fucking good.
Yeah, and we got the little tag at the end like they always do, where for some reason Mark is addressing Earth in a very like
authoritative way.
Conquering way.
Yeah.
And where he says, if you think you can stop us, just remember and then it does the splash, invincible. Like they do every episode.
I like that though.
I do too.
Yeah. It's a cool
kind of reminds me of Barry in a way, you know. And it's just always that short, brief little.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Except for like most of the last episode or season.
None of the last season
has the music.
I had no music.
Barry was a good ass show.
It was. It got hairy at the end. I just saw a clip on TikTok of the scene where what's his name? He did the mockumentaries with him.
Oh yeah, fucking. Oh shit. Fred Armisen.
Yeah, Fred
when
Armisen.
He's the assassin and his hand blows up with the pen gun.
Dude, he's just sweating like nobody's fucking business. And he's looking at the ceiling. Goes, that guy's here to kill me.
That guy's here to kill me. Yeah.
What are you talking about?
He's with it. I thought he was with you guys. No, I thought he was with you guys. And he runs up to shoot him with the pen and
this is for Hank Cristobal.
Blows his fucking hand up.
Blows his hands up.
Standing there bleeding out.
And then the sniper
drops down through the ceiling after, because the sniper kills everybody in the room, and Barry grabs a gun off of one of the guards and shoots him until he dies, and he's just hanging in the cords and shit. And then he escapes prison and goes and lives in Texas for a while.
Yeah, like what?
Like 9 years.
Yeah, a decade.
Yeah.
Dude,
wild shit.
Yeah, for real.
for real.
Let me get it the long way.
The long way. So, yeah, fucking Invincible says season 2 looks dope. We got fucking Sterling K. Brown playing a villain who can access all dimensions. And I do think that, if I remember correctly from what I've heard, I haven't read all of it, Invincible, the books, do eventually lean into like a dimensional war.
Oh, wow.
So I wonder if that's
the lead up.
Yeah, this guy is going to kind of be a player in that. We see, I can't think of the character's name, but Seth Rogen's alien traveling back to his homeworld to tell him, like, hey, I found a Viltrumite who is not
Who's pretty cool.
Fucking megalomaniac, you know? And it seems like maybe they're skeptical, understandably, considering all they know of the Viltrumites is that they took their homeworld. So. Oh, I thought you were going to blow. I was waiting for you. He's going to blow. In the same vein there, the main vein, Omni-Man, we got to see some of his gameplay for Mortal Kombat 1, which is a shame that Mortal Kombat 1 is apparently not very good. But, I mean, it's Mortal Kombat, you know. There's good, there's bad.
It's kind of the same thing.
Yeah. But he does look pretty dope.
It does.
His fucking... I like that a lot of his combat is moves that we've seen him use where it's like, oh yeah, that is how Omni-Man fights. And that it's not just... he's just fighting people. I mean, that he's not just a skin. You know what I mean?
I mean, like...
And they got J.K. Simmons to voice him.
That is true. I am very excited for that. But they could do stuff that they didn't show in the show, but is very much like a... Yeah, he'd do that. Like, because what he slices that guy in half.
Yeah. Well, right, and we didn't necessarily
him over
see
the counter. That's true. I
know?
think something like that would be cool if he took his hand and like just sliced you.
Yeah, just karate chops you in half essentially. Dude. You figure we get to see the subway. Yeah, is one of the fatalities. You're just standing there getting ran through or being pushed through a train. Getting ran through by a train. Like, pardon? Yo, and then we do see like the Mark beat down where he's just got him pinned against the rock, beating his face in.
Just hammer fists him.
Yeah, and then we got to see him crushing very red, I almost said red mist, red blur style. Yeah. I do wish that the person would still be like punching him in the chest. That
would be cool. That would be super cool.
Crushing their head. And you get the eye popping and everything.
Dude, the red blur was fucking him up.
Yeah. That's why he went for him first.
Just because he was the most
He's the one that could do it. As long as he was in play. Because even if he just ran defense like he was doing, moving people out of Omni-Man's way.
Like, he still has the advantage on him.
Yeah, because he can keep them alive long enough to stop them. Because you figure fucking... I can't think of her name. But Immortal and...
Valkyrie?
No, something like that, but I don't think it's Valkyrie.
We'll call it Valkyrie.
Yeah, we'll call her Valkyrie. We're fucking him up.
Yeah, dude. Yeah,
like when the Martian wrapped itself around him and had him pinned down, they were beating his ass.
Something's got to be controlling him. And he goes, it doesn't matter. It's either him or us.
Yeah.
And she's like, I choose us.
And they just start beating the shit out of him.
Walloping. Yeah. They walloping on him.
And then he does just kill the Martian by just ripping his face off.
Yep. Dude, fucking Darkwing. Yeah, when he grabs him by the foot, just...
Darkwing always makes me think of Darkwing Duck.
What is that?
He was like basically Batman, but in the
Rubber Ducky
DuckTales type. Huh. Yeah. So let's see. I did want to talk about this because it is noteworthy. Taylor Swift for the Eras Tour made $96 million over the weekend box office and was distributed outside of major studios. So like she didn't have Sony distributing it or anything like that. She just made a deal with AMC and went, here's the finished product, and AMC put it in theaters, which means she's getting a larger cut of that ticket. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As opposed to paying the studio, then the studio pays her. It's just AMC takes their cut, then they pass it on to her. I'm sure all the people that made it gets paid, and then she gets paid for being the talent. And you figure pre-sales were so successful that Beyonce is now doing the same thing with her Renaissance tour. It's going to be in theaters, I think, in December. And so I wonder if we'll see like a resurgence of I mean, it's an untapped place. And if you've got the state of ticket prices right now where because of resales, you can't get tickets and scalpers and things like that, this is viable. You figure Morgan and I went and saw this over the weekend. And like I told her, honestly, the trade-off being you don't get the experience of being there live, right? But you get the best seat in the house.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like all the shots where you're following her on stage, you're tracking with her, and it was one of her shows. It was her Las Vegas or Los Angeles show, just recorded with cameras like lining the stage and things like that. And so like you effectively got front row seats to the concert, as opposed to having $1,700 seats that are technically behind the stage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that's a pretty decent trade off.
Yeah, that ain't bad.
That like you saved a lot of money. Didn't get to see it in person live, get the experience of being there, but you got to see the show.
Yeah.
And it was kind of a weird atmosphere. I'm not a big fan, so it wasn't like, spiritual experience for me, but it seemed to be for the others. It gave, I've seen some videos that are very midsummer of people like ringing around the rosy,
naturally
singing and dancing. And I'm like, oh, word. I did see a meme that was like, hey, if you're going to go see, Killers of the Flower Moon, don't see it during the week, because Taylor, I think the show's only shown on the weekends. So just imagine being in Killers of the Flower Moon and just next door you can just hear fucking, look what you made me do. What the fuck? So you just got it bumping and you've got a bunch of white girls just, I will say that the theater was unsurprisingly Caucasian and unsurprisingly female.
Yeah.
Almost disappointingly so. Where I was like, you don't want to be confirmed. And then you come in there and go, yep, this looks about right.
Yeah, it's about white.
Yeah, basically. It's a shame, and there were a lot of late teens to early 30s. It was right in that pocket.
Yeah.
But, no, I mean, all things considered, it was a good show. I mean, it did exactly what it was meant to do. Morgan was beside herself, as well as the other Caucasian people there. And it was successful, I suppose. I do just think it's interesting that, like I said, $96 million and there was no studio involved.
Yeah, that's nuts.
That's fucking crazy. So she made a healthy amount of money last weekend. And then this news comes out today that we're recording on the 16th. Bethesda's Pete Hines, who has been a part of Bethesda Softworks for 24 years as their, I believe, right, he's their head of marketing. He's the head of publishing for Bethesda. He has announced his retirement.
Oh, no.
This is not how it was supposed to go. No, so Bethesda put out a statement saying Pete Hines, SVP, head of publishing for Bethesda Softworks, has announced his decision to retire. Pete's public presence was only a small part of his role at Bethesda, although the way he represented us carried over into the values he nurtured here: authenticity, integrity, and passion. His contributions have been integral in building Bethesda and its family of studios into the world-class organization that it is today. His vision helped push us forward, and his hard work inspired us. We're thankful for his 24 years of leadership and wish him the best in this next chapter. We'll miss you, Pete. But, I mean, a lot of people affectionately call him Uncle Pete, because when he comes out to do press and stuff, he just comes out wearing a t-shirt, maybe a denim jacket over top of it, and just no, not a blazer, a denim jacket. You know what I mean? He's wearing this over a t-shirt and some jeans, and is just a guy who in the last 10 years has had some gray in his temples and is just this is a pretty fucking cool game, guys. Check this out, check out Doom Eternal, and that was his thing. He was kind of like the, not anywhere near as impactful, I think, historically, but he was kind of like the Steve Jobs of Bethesda, of he comes out in his t-shirts and turtleneck, or in his tennis shoes and turtleneck, and wows the crowd with his salesmanship. You know? And so Pete Hines did post a statement himself saying, "After 24 years, I've decided my time at Bethesda Softworks has come to an end. I am retiring and will begin an exciting new chapter of my life, exploring interests and passions, donating my time where I can, and taking more time to just enjoy my life. This was not a decision I came to easily or quickly, but after an amazing career culminating in the incredible launch of Starfield, it does feel like the time is right. This is certainly not goodbye by any means. My love of Bethesda and its people has never wavered, and I will never stop being part of this incredible community we have grown. Thank you to the hundreds and thousands of fans I've gotten to meet and talk to over the last 24 years. Your energy, creativity, and support has been such a big part of my journey. I look forward to experiencing the next part of my adventure alongside you. Working with the amazing people, teams, and studios at Bethesda has been the greatest experience of my life. I'm incredibly proud of everything we've done together, and I'm genuinely excited to see what amazing things they will create next. Love you guys, Pete.
Aww.
Yeah, and so that is hard when you've got somebody that is a public figure, especially
We love
for the
you,
company, where it's like now they've got that weird thing of like, you know, from a public standpoint, his presence will be missed.
Yeah.
You know, where the next time you see Bethesda, you know,
It ain't him.
it ain't him. Yeah, and you're like, I do miss Pete. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You got to find the next guy. You figure Todd Howard kind of does that too with like Fallout, and he did a lot for Starfield and things like that. And I did notice that Pete was less involved with the Starfield stuff, but a lot of times if you have a live presentation, it was Pete, and so I think that's where you'll see it. But who knows, man? I just thought that is a big, actually big news, in the fact that it came out today. While I was looking, it was like the article was minutes old when I found it, and I was like,
Oh shit.
yo.
Yo.
And then the last thing I wanted to mention was fucking Zac Efron being absolutely yoked for The Iron Claw, which is a film he is in as, I didn't pull up the synopsis, but it's a true story of a family of wrestlers in, it looks like maybe the 70s or 80s.
Yeah.
Let me pull it up here.
In the trailer, the one part where Zac Efron's standing there and he is like, "Some of you may die, but that's a sacrifice I'm willing to make."
It says it's the true story of the inseparable Von Erich brothers who make history in the intensely competitive world of professional wrestling in the early 80s. So yeah, early 80s. Through tragedy and triumph under the shadow of their domineering father and coach, the brothers seek larger-than-life immortality on the biggest stage in sports.
Your brother-in-law would probably eat that shit up.
Yeah, my brother-in-law fucking loves professional wrestling. I think it looks pretty good.
No, I think it looks good. I'm not that big into wrestling, but
yeah.
I think that looks
Yeah.
like it looks good.
Because you figure...
I will say lately, and we can talk about this because
Yeah.
I don't have anything for Chris's Crazy Corner, but I do got a lot I've been thinking about.
Yeah.
But don't let me forget UFC, which we'll talk about more about. Continue.
Let's talk about that. Jeremy Allen White is in it as well, from fucking the cooking show that I like. What the fuck is it called?
Binging with Babish.
No.
Hell's Kitchen.
No, stop. Be helpful or don't.
Haunted Hotels.
Yes, that's the one. Hotels, what is it? Diners, Dives, and Drives. No, Drives and Dives.
Put some respect on that name, bro.
Fuck that guy.
Diners, Drive-ins, and Dives.
Guy Fieri can lick my taint.
Whoa, he's from Columbus.
I'll fucking take him to Flavortown. How about that? Lick my ass, Guy Fieri. No, anyways.
He made Flavortown. We need to make the entire state of Ohio just Flavortown.
No. He, let's see. No. Fucking Jeremy Allen White is from The Bear and Shameless.
Uh-huh.
He is one of the brothers in this.
Yeah.
Is what I was trying to get at.
Oh. We were way off,
Yeah,
man.
and you're over there going, Gordon Ramsay. Fucking.
Why didn't you just say The Bear?
Because I couldn't think of The Bear. I said the cooking show I like, and you were like,
Why don't you just say Animal? And I'm like, oh, The Bear?
so I couldn't think of the name enough to know it was an animal. I knew it was cooking.
All right.
And I like that your brain naturally was like, oh, dude, it's Binging with Babish. I'm like, what the fuck's that got to do with this movie?
That's your cooking show, bro.
Anyways, yeah, it is. I do like me some Binging with Babish. Yeah, we get to see Zac Efron being the largest I think I've ever seen him be.
Well, it looks kind of gross.
I mean, yeah, he's basically in bodybuilder shape. And the bodybuilder physique is not attractive.
Not one to be trifled with.
Yeah, it's not attractive. It's terrifying. It invokes disgust because it seems inhuman. And then, I mean, there is the shame of, like, he did have to have reconstructive surgery. I don't know if you heard that back when, but where he'd had the accident where he busted his face up real bad.
I didn't know he busted his face. I thought he just did it.
No. It's not plastic surgery for cosmetics. It was because he had, like, a facial injury.
How did he bust his face?
I don't remember.
Was it in the movie?
No. It's not in this movie. It's been in the past.
Oh, I thought it was like from the movie, like filmed in the movie.
No, it's been a while back. He had an accident and had to have reconstructive surgery on his jaw and face and stuff. But, so all things considered, he looks pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, he still looks remarkably the same, you know. It's just
He
his,
just looks
it's
a bit
just his
older.
chin and bottom lip. I think that you notice it the most in. But
A little more squared off.
mm-hmm.
I think that hairstyle really did it in too.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a great hairstyle, but I'm sure it's what that guy looked like
Yeah,
hairstyle wise.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it looks really good. Dad seems like he's a real piece of work. We're like at the fucking breakfast table, he's ranking his sons.
Yeah.
And then says, but don't forget, the rankings can always change.
They can always change.
And it didn't feel like ribbing from Dad. You know what I mean? It felt like, I know, Dad. You know what I mean?
I know.
I'm like, oof. That's not a great fucking living scenario there. Yeah, I know, Dad.
No
I can
place
always
like
fall
home.
from last. I can always fall from first to last.
Yep.
Yes, you can, son. But no, it looks pretty dope. It comes out December 22nd, so check that shit out. There's a lot of news.
That was, man. We're like an hour in.
Just about, yep. But granted, there was a pause for you to like get your shit together too.
That is true. That is true.
Ready to talk about your comic?
Yeah, I'm so ready.
All right, you start.
Okay. So the comic I read was called Something's Killing the Children.
Uh-huh.
I can't remember who it's by. Let me pull that up. Yeah, so my comic is called Something is Killing the Children by James Tynion. And then I'm trying to see the...
Looks like it's drawn by Werther Dell'Edera and maybe Mikel Muerto.
Yeah. Yeah. But it is super good. It was digitally released on May 20th of 2020. The synopsis here is... When the children of Archer's Peak begin to go missing, everything seems hopeless. The few children that return alive have terrible stories, impossible details of terrifying creatures that live in the shadows. Their only hope is the arrival of a mysterious stranger, one who believes the children and claims to be the only adult who sees what they can see. Her name is Erica Slaughter. She kills monsters. And this is all she does, and she bears the cost because it must be done.
So what'd you think of it?
I think it's really freaking dope. I'm not finished with it.
Who picked that out for you?
I picked it out.
I picked that shit out
I
for you.
picked it out, bro.
I read the synopsis and went, that sounds up Chris's alley.
Nah, but it's pretty cool. It's like super gory and graphic. Like,
You seen kids get chopped up and shit?
well, there's a section where this monster is breaking into the house, right, of a parent and kids, right, and the monster kills the parents, and the kids like freaking out, like trying to run away from the monster, and slips going down the stairs and breaks her arm in half, and she's just holding the bone, the nub, and it's just like looking at this monster, just somebody help me,
Like,
and then it just cuts to black, right, and you're just like, oh my god,
yeah.
And like another one was like, what's his name? I think it's Carl. Is one of the main kids. Carl.
Get back.
He's kind of like the main character. He's how we get introduced in the story.
Uh-huh.
And he was with his friends, and they were all spending the night. And he was like, down by the ravine, there's a monster, right? And everyone's like,
word is
bullshit, right? There's no
my
way.
ass. Yeah.
And he's like, they're all playing truth or dare. And he goes,
I dare you guys to go.
Yeah, I dare you guys to go. And they all go, and they fall down the ravine, and they all die except for Carl.
God damn.
And so, like, but it just shows, like, flashbacks of it.
Yeah.
And you see, like, Carl picking up his friend, and he's just severed from the torso down, right? And he's just like, oh, don't leave me. And it's just like, oh my God. And then there's one where his head's just split in two, and he's just, like, mumbling nonsense because he's
on the way out.
Yeah, And it's just like, oh my God, this kid's just going through that. And he's like, I gotta get out of here.
That's some Battlefield shit. Not the game, but the actual, like, being on a battlefield.
Yeah. But, I mean, it's super good. Yeah. And then we meet Erica Slaughter. And she's really funny, and she's, like, really witty.
Yeah.
But not in, like, a sarcastic way. But, like, she's very quick. Like, she gets picked up by the cops, right? Because they're like, you're obviously not from
What's the
around
time
here.
frame on this? Does it seem modern day?
Maybe like early 2000s.
Okay.
Modern,
Yeah, modern. More
somewhat.
modern than not, yeah.
Right. Because she has like a
It's
flip.
not medieval.
No,
Yeah.
she's got like a flip phone.
Okay, yeah.
All right. But the cops come and pick her up, right? Because they're like, you're obviously not from around here. You're being like super sus, like, and stuff. What's going on? And they're like,
She's
you're
a
hanging.
sussy block.
Oh yeah. But they're like, you're hanging out with this kid who was the kid that only survived.
Yeah.
You know, because she's like, "What do you know, kid?"
Right.
And they're like, "So what the fuck's he like?
Yeah. What's the story here?
Yeah, you the one who killed these kids?" And she's like, "Nah, you're gonna be getting a call in about 3 minutes, and it's gonna be from someone to say and let me go.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna let me go, and I'm gonna solve your problem for you, and
Yeah.
then you'll never see me again."
Yeah. I'll disappear.
And she's like, "I know that's not easy to
Deal with.
but
That's
that's
how it
what's gonna happen."
Yeah.
And he's like,
is.
"All right."
All right.
And so
And then it happens.
yeah, and then exactly that happens. So it's just she's very like, she's thought of everything,
Yeah.
right? Like even if she does get caught,
Yeah. They've done this before.
yeah, it's the
Yeah.
same now.
This is what she does.
Yeah,
It's all she does.
that's not a knife.
This is a noise.
That's a knife.
Yeah.
But no, it's super good, and I really want to keep reading it.
Yeah. For it to be classified as a horror comic, is it horrifying at times?
Yes.
Yeah.
The amount of gore
Yeah, and especially like violence to children.
to chill, like it's just something you don't see, and it's like, oh my god, man,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
holy shit.
Yeah. So I guess maybe that's a trigger warning on this. Yeah, violence to children. Don't read it if you want to see that, or if you don't want to see that. So I read a book by Celine Loop, I think is how you pronounce your last name, Loup. It is called The Man Who Came Down the Attic Stairs. It was pretty good. It wasn't.
The man who came.
So it's about. It looks like maybe it takes place in the 50s, maybe the 40s. And it's a young couple who are expecting their first. And it starts off with them just like, being all lovey-dovey, like in a field, right? And it's like, oh, you gather that they're hanging out by a house that they're looking at, and their realtor's in there talking to the landowner or the homeowner. And so they're buying the house that they're going to settle down in and have this baby, right? Well, you find out that it's kind of all told in flashback of sorts as she's in therapy, and she's talking to her therapist that basically she's been having issues ever since the baby came home. The baby just cries nonstop. Like, it does not stop for more than 15 minutes. And so like she started sleeping in the attic, which is where they turned into the nursery. She's just been sleeping there with the baby because it's easier that way. And her husband hasn't been the same. Like, just ever since the baby came, there's something off about him. Like, there's a scene where the husband goes up. He's like, all right, I'm going to get the bolt cutters. I'm going to cut that lock off of the attic door. And that way we can get a look at it and see if it's going to work for the nurse or whatever. And so she's all right. She's sitting in the chair, and she's still pregnant at this point. And he goes up, and and then she hears a lot of noise up there, like maybe fighting, wrestling. There's a lot of crashing and banging and stuff. So she's yelling for him, and she comes waddling up to the stairs, and he's coming down the stairs. And for a second, like one frame of the book, his face doesn't look like a face. It almost looks like, I don't know. It's hard to describe it. Imagine if the predator's mouth was just its whole head. Okay. And it's like its face just opened up that way.
Yeah.
And had teeth along each row that opened out. Almost snout-like, but that length, but then it opens out. And she's obviously like, what the fuck? And it looks like her husband again. Yeah. And so she's like, are you okay? I heard all that noise. And he's like, what noise? And she goes up there, and there's like a lamp shattered on the ground, and the like a box is all torn open, and stuff scattered around. And he's like, oh, I tripped over the damn box, knocked the lamp over. She's like, oh, okay. Whatever. And then her water breaks, and so she starts, oh God. And that's how you catch up to, and there's just not been something right about the whole thing ever since. And she's not been sleeping well, and she's kind of feeling a little bit outside of her mind, and you get little hints that maybe she had a violent outburst with not the baby, but with a woman of some kind, because she says something about that she doesn't think that she's safe to take care of the baby. And there's just one frame of her with her hands around a woman's throat. And then, back to her being in therapy.
Yeah.
And I don't want to give full spoilers because it's a really short book, and it's free on Comixology. I'm not sure how much it costs.
Not a sponsor.
Yeah, not a sponsor or anything. That's just who I use to read a lot of Marvel or DC books.
Comixology sponsors.
Yeah, right, yeah. I think they're owned by Amazon, so.
Don't be rude.
Don't be rude. It is strange. It's definitely, I would call it like slow burn. It's not especially horrifying, but it does give you that sense of
willies.
Yeah, in a sense. It gives you that weird
something's just not right.
There's just something not right. And it is definitely, it kind of reminds me of like a less so, but just bear with me. It kind of reminds me of like a a Babadook or a Midsummer, where it's like,
Yeah.
it's a horror movie,
But it's not like a
but it's a
jump scare.
metaphor for depression. You know what I mean?
Right.
Where she's definitely struggling with postpartum depression, and it's that whole thing of like, this motherhood's not easy, especially when your husband's not helping, and this baby won't stop crying, and I just don't know what to do, you know?
Yeah.
And it's that thing of like not knowing if she can even trust what she's seeing and hearing because she's so sleep deprived, and you know, that kind of stuff. And I don't want to give there is a twist of sorts, or like a reveal of sorts that you're like, that I don't want to give away because, like I said, it is a really short, like 50-page book, and like I said, it's free on Comixology, so give it a little whirly gig. But I enjoyed it, and because it was so short, I then went over and read something that I've had in my library on Comixology for a while, fucking 30 Days of Night, which is written by Steve Niles, and I'm not going to get into the details on this one either, because a lot of people have probably seen the movie that came out in like 2006, maybe 2008, and it is an adaptation of the book. And actually, from watching the movie and reading the book, it's pretty fucking like spot on.
You think?
Yeah, because the book is this is titled Volume 1, but this volume is
There's
the
only
movie.
one volume.
It's the start and finish.
Yeah.
It's the story. But I was kind of giving you the synopsis for people that don't know. It's about a married couple who are both sheriffs of this small town in Alaska called Barrow, Barrow. And it is this small Alaskan town that for about a month every year, the sun goes below the horizon and just never rises.
That's just Alaska.
Yeah, it's just dark for 30 days. Hence the name, 30 Days of Night. And unfortunately for them, I don't know if you call it like a gang, I guess, of vampires besets the town. And obviously that's not good because there's no sun.
Yeah, they got 30 days to roam.
To just, run the thing. And it is very like very few survivors because it's a bloodbath at first. And we're just going to like hide in the basement of this house and hope that they don't
check it,
find us. Yeah. And hope we can make it till the sun comes up, you know.
Man, I get my wooden stake.
Maybe they try that.
Get my silver bullet.
Maybe they even try shooting him in the head.
I got my garlic.
Yeah, right.
Get my garlic.
And it's that thing of like, it does do a neat thing where, to kind of spoil it a little bit, one of the vampires that shows up later than the rest of the gang seems like he's famous amongst vampires, where it's like, oh man, he showed up, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's here. And he's kind of like, you fucking idiots, you know? And he's mad at them because this is too big of an event to have happen. And he's like, do you know how many centuries it's taken for us to return to myth? You know? So it plays with the idea of like, way back when, we used to genuinely be afraid of vampires, and
right.
you know, we used to dig people up and put a stake through their heart because she's been getting up and drinking people's blood, you know, and things like that. We used to genuinely believe that vampires existed, and now obviously we're like, it's just a myth, you know.
Right,
How silly of us, you know. And this is basically saying, what if vampires always have been real, and they've just managed to lay low long enough that they're a myth, and they can attack, feed a little bit here and there, the homeless, things like that, you know, people that won't be missed.
Right.
And then that's how they've survived, and he's mad that this is going to draw too much attention.
Vampires taking control of our homeless situation.
Right, yeah. They just
Hold on,
where did all the homeless people go? I don't know, man. There's just a guy just fully looks like a tick. He's just so bloated with blood. But no, it is
fingers.
The art on this is really wild. And in fact, the story of this is really wild. Not the story of the book itself, but the story of making it. Apparently, and at the end of this volume, it shows you it's a script for a movie that the guy pitched and got turned down. So then he and a buddy turned it into a graphic novel that got so popular that it got picked up by Sony and turned into a movie. Where I guess they just needed to see that you know what? People are interested in that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't sound good to them on paper, but hey, people liked it, so I guess we'll do it.
I'm glad that he was able to do that, though, and hopefully he got a big share of that profit.
Yeah. But yeah, the art's really unique on it. Very almost watercolory. Okay. There's not a lot of detail in the faces and stuff. I do want to show you. There's one frame in this that I was like, yo, that's
Slapping.
spoopy.
That was involuntary. It's like a burp, but like it didn't really burp. It just.
It's like someone's tongue in your ass, dude.
Excuse me. Pardon. I'm sad. Pardon. Good night. Oh my god, that looks terrifying.
Yeah. But the movie, if I recall correctly, pretty good movie. Like, I remember it.
We'll have to watch it.
Yeah. And so, I think that leads us into what you've been thinking about, Chris.
Well, lately I've been kind of sick. So
You've been sick today.
Whole lot of sleep today. I'm a day by day kind of guy. You know me. Come on now. I don't think
You're hour by hour. Let's be
exactly.
real.
In this hour, I'm feeling kind of sleepy.
You're damn near goldfish level. If it ain't in front of you.
What'd you say?
Huh? What were we talking about?
French Montana. No, I've recently been getting.
That can't be pleasant to hear. I apologize.
I've recently been getting into UFC. I don't know why. I'm not really a big fighter. Like, nor do I ever really watch fighting stuff.
Oh, I do.
But like, I've been getting into like a hardcore UFC and like watching Sean O'Malley.
Get on World Star, dude.
Dude, get on Live League. Like,
you can just see what's I can't think of the comedian's name. Sam. No, maybe not Sam. I can't think of his name, but he talks about how the entire like Iraq war is just available online.
you can see a lot of stuff on the internet.
Yeah.
Like,
not great stuff.
Like it's Monday morning and I'm
I'm
seeing
watching somebody's last moments.
Yeah.
The internet's wild, man.
That's fucking nuts, bruh.
And like we were seeing that shit at like 13 on the internet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember like coming in from the gym, like into the locker room, and like all my buddies like, "Hey, buddy, take a look at this."
Peep this,
and it's just someone getting
horrendous
beheaded.
Accident, yeah, or like a fucking cartel killing.
Yeah, man. And I'm just like in 6th grade, like,
yeah.
all right, I gotta go to math now.
Yeah, I just gotta exist as a child who saw death. Yeah,
I mean that was just Tuesday.
Yeah, yep.
How was school today, honey?
Pretty good, man.
But it's all right.
Yeah. What'd you learn in school today? Nothing.
Not a whole lot.
Yeah.
It's all right.
I learned what someone's face looks like when it's no longer attached to their body.
Yeah. But
what were we talking about?
what you been thinking about?
Yeah, UFC fights. You been watching?
UFC
You said Sean O'Malley.
Yeah, Sean O'Malley. I watched McGregor get his shit rocked, which I was like, good.
Good. He's a
I
fucking.
don't like McGregor.
Yeah,
He's kind of a tool, man.
he's a bitch. Yeah.
He just like he's always getting in your face, and he just needs to be humble. He needs someone to humble his ass, and I think that's what happened because they got him in a submission too.
Yeah.
Which that's humiliating.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you're gonna tap out. What a
Yeah,
fucking
right.
what a wuss, huh? So I've been watching a bunch of stuff about that, and then I really did start enjoying reading this comic, and I think I want to continue to read it, and maybe I don't know, keep reading comic books. I mean,
Yeah.
and it's
Especially now
something.
that I got you signed into Comixology, there's a whole bunch more comics available to
And
you.
it's something I always like go back and forth of like I want to read comics. I love comics, right? And it's just like I just don't have any.
Yeah.
And it's like I gotta drive to the comic book store to go get them, and
Yeah.
it's like
and we don't have one close.
no, we really don't. And so it's just like, but no.
Right on your fingertips.
Yeah. What about you, Colin? What have you been thinking about?
I started a new job, so that's been pretty exciting.
Yeah.
It's a work from home gig,
Your
which is a hard adjustment. It's like it's been nice so far, but it is strange to like. I don't know. I guess like I wore shorts and a t-shirt to work today.
yeah, I mean, because you've been a uniform and then it was casual
Well, I went
or formal, not
Yeah.
casual.
yeah, like my last gig was like dress shoes and a tie, you know. And now I'm like, I don't have shoes on right now.
It must be nice, dude.
Yeah, it is. The dogs don't like it though, because they're used to. Oh, he's home. I can
Rome.
Yeah, I can go be with him. And I'm like, nah, I've got the baby gate. At the
Get
bottom of
off
the stairs.
me.
And like poor Archie was banging on the gate. Let me in. Let me in. And I had to holler down at him like, Archie, go lay down, buddy. Like, quit banging on that gate.
He don't love you no more.
That's right. Go away. But no, so that's been pretty cool. I've been getting really into Ancestry,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the actual
app.
the,
Ancestry.com.
the service, I suppose.
The website.
Yeah. My dad and I did some genetic testing, and I think we found some like
Some missing family.
some missing
stuff.
family. Yeah, that we were like, we knew there was a gap in the family from like adoption and stuff. And I think we found them, so that's pretty cool.
I think it'd be pretty cool to find out from mine because I don't know anything past my grandparents.
Yeah.
I mean, I know nothing.
Yeah.
I know my grandfather's side, we weren't royalty, but we were nobles at some point.
Yeah.
Like we had some wealth.
It's like I found out that
I haven't seen a fucking dime of that.
right. Yeah, that didn't fall through.
No.
It's like I've got a fucking Revolutionary War general that like made a fort and founded like the free state of this area. You know what I mean? And like opposed the Constitution of the United
Alabama.
States. He didn't know. It was
You're
out
on the wrong side.
Yeah. I was like, oh no, it was out in Pennsylvania.
Okay. That's
And yeah, like he opposed the Constitution. He liked the Articles of Confederation that they had before the Constitution, and so like was willing to take up arms to defend it. You know, like fight against the Federalists and shit. And I'm like, what the hell? I was like, you know what? We're like within 8 hours of that fort. I should go see it.
yeah, man.
But
We were talking too. We both would really like to travel Europe.
Yeah.
And like go see like World War
One
World
battlefields,
War,
yeah.
just fights.
and then you got
like
art too. I mean, you
Oh
figure
my God,
some
I
of
would-
the oldest architecture in the world is in that part of the
Well,
world.
that and like even like some of the like I'd love to see some original Van Gogh paintings,
Yeah.
the Mona Lisa, a bunch of like.
If
Da
I could
Vinci's
see
work.
Roman ruins,
oh
oh my God.
I would really. I mean, I think the most thing I'd get excited about, I think, is seeing a bunch of the stuff for Constantine.
Yeah.
Because I think his whole philosophy, which we won't get into because it
No.
dips into religion, and that's
Right.
kind of a hot topic, but
Yeah.
his whole like shtick
Yeah.
of like how he conquered everything is so fascinating to me, and I think like what
Yeah.
a strategic power play.
Yeah. Religion being a tool.
Using it against the people to make them join,
Yeah.
so he has the numbers on them, and then they have no choice but to
Yep.
we surrender, I guess.
Yep.
You know, so super fucking cool. Yeah, I'd love to go see Rome and see like the Colosseum and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
I mean, we both are really big into history.
Yeah.
I love learning about it. You like talking about it. I love
Yeah.
learning about it because, like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I just like learning it. Like, I like hearing
Mhm.
about it and watching it and shit like that.
Yeah.
But
Which makes for really good one-sided conversations where I just tell you a lot of history.
yeah, and I mean,
And
yeah, I'm
you're
just
like,
cool with listening.
Whoa.
I'm like, yeah, man, that's cool. Like, that's dope.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I mean, I just like listening about it.
But no, one of the things that we did run into with the Ancestry is like, we were trying to figure out where a connection between someone that we knew in our family that probably isn't genetically family, but we've always thought they were,
Yeah.
or been treated like
We've
they
all
were.
had that aunt or uncle that's not really family, but
Well, ours is more like an entire line of our family
Oh.
because my grandfather on my father's side is adopted.
uh-huh.
And so we're like, and it seems like it was, it's in the 70s or in the 30s in like Backtown, Kentucky, where like it definitely wasn't official.
Right.
It was just like, this is our baby now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so we've always wondered, like, how did his adoptive parents know his birth parents? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they did in some fashion, as far as we know. And I made the point that, like, imagine somebody in 80 years looking back on our paper trails and going, how does Chris fit in? He's not on any of the, like, he doesn't show up on any of these documents as family or anything like that. But if, 70 years, 80 years down the line, for some reason, I don't know. We'll if for some reason your line and our line are still like entangled well enough that they're like, well, they've just always been a part of the family. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess.
Where
so.
do they come from? You know what I mean? And then to try and look at the paper trail, you just kind of pop up out of nowhere.
I do.
Which is kind of what I'm like. I'm honestly thinking that might be what happened here. Is
that makes sense.
there's no paper trail for this person because they weren't family. They were just good friends.
And then they just
They knew this person.
baby.
Which makes it hard because it's like, well, that's the part that you don't get to fill in is what happened in the moment, and so you have to play the detective work. That's been the really fun part, is the detective work.
I'd feel really bad if someone tried to do my ancestry. Let me learn about my great 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 grandpa, and it's just a bunch of holograms because it's the future at that point.
Sure.
Of my dick and balls. What if they find my skits from high school that I made,
Right.
and that's what they see of me?
That's the thing that gets me, is like there's a very neat, like I've seen World War I draft cards, and like something about seeing someone's handwriting
Yeah.
from 100 years ago is just wild to me. And like the little human things where like I saw, because a lot of times they had like the wife would sign the husband's draft cards and things like that. I was like, yes, I am the next of kin or whatever. And I saw her filling out. That's what it was. It wasn't his draft card. It was his death certificate. And she was writing something in and like didn't leave enough room. And so like the last word was like kind of squished in. And there's just something about like, that's a very... Like, that's shit we do, you know what I mean? It's very humanizing.
The apple doesn't fall far from the tree, you know?
Right, yeah, and it's, it seems abstract because you don't get to see the person. You're just looking at papers that they've touched.
But I mean, they still have the same struggles we did.
Right, yeah, and then to see that writing, you're like...
Not a whole lot's changed. Yeah, Humanity doesn't change.
Yeah. I don't know. I got a little poetic, but yeah. That's what I've been thinking about.
Well, before we start crying.
Yeah, right.
I've been telling you, I'm feeling a good cry coming up. I'm not sure when, I'm not sure how, but it's just going to happen when it does. Huh?
I said I'll give you a reason to cry. All right, everybody. If you like this episode, be sure to give us a great review on iTunes. We appreciate you guys listening to this one. Make sure that you share us on social medias. Spread us like the plague.
Yep.
The good word.
The good word.
It doesn't even have to be a good word. It could just be a fine word.
Just
as long as it's not a bad word. Though I don't know. They say bad publicity is still publicity. Did I say publicity?
Publicity.
You know what I'm talking about.
The
publicity. Publicity.
Pubussy.
No. Make sure that you're liking, following, subscribing on your audio streaming service of choice. That way you get notified when we post new episodes.
Yeah.
And then, you can interact with us on social medias. Let us know what comic books you like that are horrifying.
Yeah.
How would they do that?
Yeah, you can always take a look at our socials. Our Facebook and Instagram is Simply Whelmed Podcast. You can always take a look at our Twitter handle. Our Twitter is Whelmed_simply. Or you can always send us an email of recommendations that you have, just some favorite comic books, death threats, anything like that at the Simply Whelmed mailbag at gmail.com.
That's right. So next week, we are going to watch Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to watch 30 Days of Night.
Yeah, I'd be down for that.
Because then we get to have the best of both worlds, where it's like... I'm hoping that Blood and Honey is so bad it's good.
But I got a feeling it's going to be so bad it's good. I got a feeling it's going to be bad.
Like, yeah, it's bad.
It's not even funny. It's just like, wow.
Yeah, it's got like a 1.2 on IMDb and like a 3% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's going to be bad.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping it's so bad it's impressive.
Like The Room.
Yeah. And then if it's not, we've still got a good one as far as I remember.
Yeah.
And from what I was reading, it sounds like people remember the movie fondly. 30 Days a Night. And it's kind of cool because you didn't know what it was.
I never heard of it. I was 5 when it came out, so.
Yeah. Fucking, you eat it, little baby. And then the week after that, I think we're going to do Killers of the Flower Moon, which came out.
Dude, that looks so fucking good.
Yeah, and apparently it's one, people are saying.
I hear it's great.
Yeah, people are saying it's one of the better Scorsese films.
Good.
In a long ass time.
It looks so good.
Yeah. Though it is like 3.5 hours long.
It looks like a long movie. Yeah, we'll have to buckle up for it.
Yeah, prepare for it. Schedule
Wear sweats.
Yeah, yeah, and adult diapers.
Yeah, no, normally when we go out, we'll go after work or something, and I'll be in my dress clothes.
Yeah,
so we can't be doing that.
No, we'll
bring a spare change if anything.
Yeah,
but that's the end of the podcast.
Yeah, tell everybody bye, Chris.
At the same time, 1, 2, 3, bye.